So even though here at MediaPost our legacy is that we're focused on and founded on looking at media buying and planning, that's what MediaPost comes from, and that still is our main constituency, is that side. We've been, of late, especially at the summits, been trying to focus increasingly on creative as well, and the kinds of creative decisions that people are making and why and how impactful they are, especially as the environment gets more cluttered. It is no more cluttered than in the D2C space. I'm going to defer to Sarah on this, our D2C reporter, because she just gave me a stat that was a little stunning. How many D2C brands are there out there, Sarah?
I think the last I heard was 700,000.
There you go. That's a lot of people buying Facebook and Instagram ads. So we wanted to have a session just sort of calling out a couple of different approaches to creative and the ways in which a couple of brands are coming at this a little differently and what they're finding in the channels and how they're trying to break through in those channels. I'm going to ask both Daniel and Colleen to introduce themselves and the companies that they're with. Give us a little thumbnail of Pura and Ministry of Supply. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Daniel Lacey. I'm with Pura. So Pura is a smart home fragrance device that allows you to control the scent of your home all from your phone. So you can, create schedules, adjust, there's a nightlight on the back, you can put fragrances in there. And then we also partner with some of the best and biggest fragrance brands in the nation, Nest Fragrances. So we partner with them so you can, use bamboo from Nest and put it in your smart device and scent your home.
Okay. Colleen?
And I'm Colleen Maloney. I'm with Ministry of Supply. We are a performance apparel company, and we're in the work leisure space. So whether you're in the office, working from home, commuting, traveling, we make clothes for you in any aspect of your life, and all of our clothing is sustainable and scientifically backed. So our co-founder, he has a chemical engineering background, so I was chatting with Megan a lot about the fabrics and the importance of scientifically testing your clothing.
Some digital first brands are founded in Stanford, as in the business school. This one was founded at MIT.
Right. Yeah. A little bit different.
I always found, Gahan was with us in our first D2C show. I always found that really, really fun. Let's start with you, Daniel. First of all, before we get into the creative that you're going to show us, just give us a sense of what the marketing mix is at Pura, how you acquire customers most effectively.
Yeah, so we started 4 years ago. We've been selling for the past 4 years. We've grown 1,000% year over year. And really it started with Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my background. So did a lot of split tests, and obviously back in 2018 worked perfectly. And we've really, our second highest performing channel is influencers. And so what we do is we pair those two really well together. So yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Okay, set up. Let's look at the influencer clips that we have. Set it up for us. Where are these running? And
yeah, so these are influencers. We've worked with hundreds of influencers over the past couple years, and it's on the surface, it's nothing special. This is what tons of companies are doing, but I think it's really nuanced, right? And so to give you kind of a sense of what we're able to do with this strategy, in the past 2.5 months, we've grown our ARR by 25 million, pretty much through this strategy right here. And so we work with influencers. We find influencers who are consistently getting, between a 5 and 10x ROI, and then we double down with them. So these are influencers. Our influencer program is actually set up very similar to Liquid IVs, so macro, micro, affiliate, ambassadors. Macro has definitely been where we've found our success. It's scary because you're paying these people 30 grand for one post. And so you'll pay an influencer 30 grand and you'll get 10 purchases from it. Or you'll pay someone 30 grand and you'll get 10,000 purchases from it in one day. And so
But
that's
net, the macro level is still the one. Why do you think that's true for your product line?
I think it's
Because I think for a lot of product lines, it's the inverse.
Yeah, totally. We've talked to a lot of people, and they're like, "Wow, we cannot get success. We can't get the
it's
ROI."
just too broad. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. So we partner with trustworthy influencers paired with trustworthy brand partners. Again, like Nest. So you have our consumers are consuming this content that they love. They want to watch Danny Austin. They want to watch Maddie Nelson, and we pair it with fragrances that they already know and love, paired with a strong, irresistible offer, and it's almost like you cannot pass this up.
That's an interesting piece of this, the partnership and having other brand affinities and other brands that sort of tick people's consciousness. I'm only underscoring that because that's a trend that I've seen over the last several D2C events, is the ways in which brands are aligning, especially D2C brands are aligning with other D2C brands, and there's a sort of an amplification effect when they do that. Is that yours is just another Facebook, Instagram, man, okay, fragrances, but they see Nest. Oh, I know that too. It legitimizes your brand, but it also gets their attention.
Exactly, and especially for us, a huge problem that we have is you can't smell if you're buying online, right? You don't know what fragrances you like, but when you partner with brands like Nest, we have 30 partners, and you have their they have loyal audiences that know their fragrances.
Right.
Helps a lot.
So let's look at it. Let's look at them.
So it's really good if you have like pets, dogs, just a stinky house in general. So Pura is doing something they've actually never done before, where if you subscribe to 2 cents, then you get a free device with the promo code FreeDeviceDA, which they've never done something like this before. So this is like a really, really good way if you guys want to try it, because you get a free device. And so you can cancel after 6 months. You can pick your own scents. Like I showed you guys my personal favorites, but I wanted to share that with you guys. If you're needing a Pura too, this is definitely like the time to try it. And like I said, I shared my 2 favorite scents, so you guys can try them too.
Yeah, nothing too crazy on the surface. It's like, okay, great, another ad. I think, Connor, how many purchases did this one drive? It was like 10,000 purchases. Obviously, free device offer. It's kind of the razor blades model there. Get the device out in people's hands, and so yeah, it was like 2 million ARR in one day from that.
Then we got another one, right?
Yeah.
I'm about to post one of the cutest reels that I've ever made of the kids before. But before I do, wanted to show you the Pura set that I was able to make for Mother's Day. This is the set that I have running in my house at all times, and my mom has it in her house at all times. But they were able to restock the set and give you guys 25% off again, which they never do. So you get the Pura device. So it's basically a smart home diffuser. I have one in our entry, one in our room, one in David's office, and then my 2 favorite LAFCO scents. So this is the LAFCO Champagne, and then this is the LAFCO Sea and Dune. The Sea and Dune is a really good summer scent, and then the Champagne is a really clean citrus. It's like a very fresh scent. It smells really homey to me, maybe because my mom and I have always had a champagne candle in our home, and then ever since they came out with the LAFCO Pure, the best.
So yeah, that's it's very nuanced though when you get into it, and those small changes. We have a whole influencer team on this. Those small changes.
Well, tell us about some of those, because I want to get into how you're talking to the influencers, the sorts of things that you're aiming for, and the little tiny touches that really are making this sort of breakthrough in people's minds in that scroll.
Totally. So again, it starts at a high strategy level, right? First and foremost, you need to have great people. We have, get one of the best paid media people in the nation. That's first and foremost. Connor is over there, and yeah. So we work with hundreds of influencers. We find the influencers that are working, and then we double down. So Maddie Nelson consistently got 5 to 10x ROI. Work with her, give her an offer that we've never run before. That's true. And then you have to give them some space, obviously, to be creative. And the reason why it works so well is because it's genuine, it's authentic. They actually use, 3 devices in their home. But that's a great talking point because we have, that offer was a very high AOV offer. And I think our AOV on this specific one grew by over 30%. And I think it's because she mentioned, I have one in my office, I have one in my bedroom, I have one here. So that was a piece, having the offer on the screen on text right at the beginning.
Which parts of those are you either controlling or influencing in terms of, say, text, the text messaging, how you're advising your influencers about how to use text or how you're giving them assets to use, and then other cues like things to mention?
Yeah, on deals like this where it's so big, we actually work with them quite a lot on refining the message. We give them kind of space to be creative, but then we're also, the text on the screen, we're working with them on that. They'll have some tweaks that they want to make, and we'll kind of go back and forth, as well as the overall message. So yeah, it's highly collaborative.
And then tell us a little bit about, I know we have Connor here, he could probably tell us more about this, but tell us about the paid media that backs this up in terms of what sort of paid media are you doing and how you're targeting off of that using, I guess, whatever data you're getting from the influencer about their audience.
Yeah, so we try and whitelist with all the influencers we have. So the reason why we are able to scale this is because it works incredibly well organically. They post on their social media. Then we can go in, whitelist it. We put the spend behind their platform. So it's from Maddie Nelson, and we're spending thousands of dollars every day to extend that reach. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as targeting goes, we keep it very broad. That's best practice these days is keep it very broad. Facebook will go and find the people that are going to buy.
Is this only running on Facebook? Are you extrapolating into other platforms? Are you using the same strategy? Are you trying to do something on TikTok as well, or does this simply port right over to Instagram? Yeah, it's generally Facebook and Instagram. That's where most of our spend is. But I would say also another key is just the amount of, this really is our content strategy. I think that's what people underestimate is the amount of content that you need to just keep growing. So we have tons and tons of influencers on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and we're constantly, every day, putting new creative into the ad accounts to see Are you doing other sort of more straight and traditional media to just getting the brand out there in a more traditional way on social, or are you really relying on this as your core driver? This is our core driver. We definitely, next step is to branch out and get into some more brand awareness type plays, but we're still heavily driven by performance. Well, thanks. That was cool. I'll leave it to everybody else to ask more questions than that. But I want to go to Colleen, because moving to you and what Ministry of Supply is doing, which started in a very D2C world, but I think you're in retail too now. You have been?
Yeah, so we have one retail store, but we had to close a bunch of them during the pandemic, unfortunately. But we have one storefront in Boston, right down the street from our office. So. But
you have chosen a very traditional path.
Yep.
You have gone to what I would call the original D2C model, the Sears model, which is a mail order catalog. And you're going to first of all, before we get into that, let me ask the same thing I asked of Daniel. Yeah. Just give us a sense of the overall marketing mix for Ministry of Supply.
Yeah, so I will preface this. My boss told me not to say this, but I joined the team like 2 months ago, so I am still new and learning everything like that.
But you're a quick study, I can tell.
Yeah. I'm glad that he trusts me enough to come and speak on their behalf. But so yeah, at the beginning of 2022, 95% of our marketing budget was Facebook, much like other brands, and yeah, just ever since the iOS update and the rising CPM, it's just a very competitive space, and you can't guarantee that you're reaching the right people. So, the team reevaluated, and so going into Q4, 75% of our budget is being put into direct mail. So, if you've heard Gihan speak, he likes to tell the company's story, and we found that you can do that with catalog in a different way than you can with digital ads. So, it's just longer form. We have a great copywriter on staff who can really tell the story of our products and the company, and you can do that in other digital ads, but it's just a different tactic. So, we're still present on Facebook and in email and everything like that, but really making the shift to catalog.
Okay, so before we go into the catalog and take a look at it,
Yep.
where are you getting your addresses? Where are you getting the list?
Yeah, so we have a great print company who has third-party lists for us, and then going into the holiday season, we're 100% prospecting. So throughout the past few months, it's been customers, lapsed customers, people who the shipping address doesn't match the billing address, so people who have gifted the products, but very, very heavily prospecting focused.
Okay. And now you're not just doing the catalog, you're doing other direct mailing too?
Yep, so we're doing remarketing postcards as well. So those are for people who have abandoned cart and things like that.
And how do you get there? How do you do you have an active program for prompting people to give their home addresses?
Repeat that again?
Do you have an active program in place to harvest and get people, prompt them to give you their home addresses?
Not their home addresses, but their emails and
then from there you...
Okay. I don't know the whole process,
but
our print companies help us with that.
There's a black box that does that. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take us through the catalog. I'm particularly interested in the ways in which a D2C company does its visuals and does a catalog, and if there are any real differences, if it's we really just going to a throwback to the old sort of Sears, guys looking like this with their arrow shirts, or if there's something that you're learning from the digital experience and digital interaction with creative that actually informs the ways in which you shape and visualize a catalog. Right.
So I'll flip through a few pages. So. Something that's interesting about our clothing is it's machine washable and wrinkle free, and so it is challenging to recognize. Similar to you can't smell digitally or even in a print catalog, but by getting really high quality photos, we try to showcase that as well as have copy associated to highlight what those features are. So there's Gihan and his wife and his son. So, he really likes to put himself out there and tell the story of the company. So I guess the difference that we can get in catalog versus in the digital ads is that we can really show all the different use cases for our clothing. So here he is, at home with his wife and his son. But then there's also, people who are working from home, and no matter what scenario you're in, our clothes, you can wear our clothes. We were talking recently in the office about how we have a 7-day wardrobe, so it's really not just the work week, it's beyond that. But yeah, I mean, we use a lot of the same creative on social media as well. It's just kind of making sure that we have that omni-channel approach and the creative is consistent on all platforms, but really being able to get a little bit more specific with the catalog.
That first visual, sort of the educational piece, which again, I would say is a kind of a D2C trope,
right.
Which is we're educating about product, we're educating sort of bringing people to a higher level of understanding of a quality product and what it means, and using those visuals to try to communicate that in print. And then, of course, founder story.
Right, exactly.
But then again, also depicting it, integrating in lifestyle. I think, is a part
Yeah,
of this.
yeah. So the lifestyle imagery is really important to us. So this, again, was before I joined the team, but the creative team went to Iceland and Norway to do these photo shoots for this catalog and for a holiday catalog that's coming out over the next few months. And yeah, just really showing like the different scenarios that you can wear clothing in. And yeah, of course, like we've got our flat images and the different colorways and everything like that, but just seeing where people can wear these pieces, I think just like really helps get the story across.
So let's talk about about impact, measurement, and all of that. How do you calculate ROI for this relative to other forms of outreach?
Yeah, so with the mailing aspect, so if we send it to a certain address and then they end up purchasing and getting the product shipped to that address, that's a way that we can measure. I think on the cover we've got a coupon code, so we can see in Shopify who's redeemed that code. Not all the measurements perfect, but again, like with iOS, it's just challenging to tell if you're reaching the right people, and so I think just having this this diverse marketing mix is important, and so we've seen like 40% better ROAS with the catalog so far than we have with Facebook and Instagram. So it's working, and I think a takeaway that I got from the Poppy presentation yesterday is we're not on TikTok, and they're crushing it, and catalog probably won't work for everybody here. So it's just like finding what vertical works for you and really leaning into that.
Anybody have any questions for either Daniel or Colleen about the processes they're using and the media they're using? We have one right over here. Oh, we have a couple. Go ahead.
Should we do this one first because I'm here?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we have one over here.
Thank you. Is this on? Okay, awesome. I'm Jay. I'm from Wink.
I can do this, I'm sure.
The little button it's the little gray button that old people like us can't see.
This probably works a little better. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Jay. I'm from Wink. Question for you, Daniel. So what are you seeing over the last few months in terms of engagement and return on investment on some of those pay-for-play influencer posts? It's a big part of our marketing strategy as well. But as Instagram has focused a lot of their strategy to Reels, we've seen engagement on stories go down. Have you shifted budgets accordingly, and are you seeing any difference in performance as a result of that?
Honestly, past couple months, we've had some of these influencers go live, and they're still crushing it. But we always are looking at diversifying a lot into TikTok, honestly, and we've seen some success there. But yes, we're just going to keep pulling on that lever until it stops working for us.
Is there any influencer fatigue setting in?
As far as the same influencer posting
Yeah.
over, we keep an eye on that, and there for sure have been instances. But it's interesting for some of our best performers, they almost, they post the first time, they crush it, the second time's better, the third time's even better. And so, yeah, we'll just keep going until that drops down.
But, I mean, part of that strategy has to be then, if it's the same influencer pitching the same product, you then have to think about, okay, what's the creative strategy? What's the messaging, sequencing? What are we going to do between the first and the second post, right?
Yeah, exactly. How do we switch up the messaging? How do we switch up the offer? What is something new that we can give?
Right.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Kaiser. I am with Nest New York, one of Pura's OG fragrance partners. Obviously, we're doing a lot of influencer marketing and social media marketing as well, but I'm just curious, when you're talking about working with a partner that, say, is a $30K investment, before you even talk about media amplification and all those additional pieces, how do you decide which macro influencers you want to work with? Talk about like some of the criteria that goes into the selection and how you make your big bets.
That was for sure the hardest code to crack, and a lot of money was wasted at first. But like I said, we have a whole influencer team. They're looking at, it's an art and a science. They're looking at all of the data behind the influencers. We rely heavily on, we work with different partners and agencies and talk with a lot of people. And pretty soon you start to find, the influencers that perform pretty well just from, other companies that they've worked with. And then there is a huge art to it. So understanding, like, going through and really being engaged with their content and seeing, how often are they promoting other products? Do they actually genuinely love Pura? So some kind of qualitative research there as well.
Go on, we'll get it to you. We have one over here, and then we'll go back to Eric.
My question is for Colleen. So we have a brand partner that we work with. We operate their website as part of ours, and they rely heavily on catalog sales as well. And the last 2 years, with the huge increases in paper costs, we've been having to really help them fight the battle of keeping budget approval for the catalog without scaling it down on the number of pages or making a lot of compromises there. So I'm just curious if you have seen, and with your short tenure you may not know, but just curious if you're aware of how ROAS has changed for catalog efforts and if you've had challenges with the issues with paper.
Yeah, so I do apologize. I don't know 100% the answer to that, but I do know that in comparison to our digital ads, the ROAS has been better. We send a lot of catalogs, so we're printing in bulk, so that does bring the cost down a little bit. But yeah, I maybe can have a better answer for you in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a quick follow-up question about when you're looking at influencers. You mentioned how frequently they post other brands and do promotions. Are you looking for someone who has a lot of promotions or few, or?
Typically fewer, but we do have some influencers. They've built their entire following around promoting products. And so they typically work really well in like our affiliate program. So we have one, Tried and True Moms. They're constantly just sharing products that they love, and they love Pura, and so they're on our, like to know program and work on an affiliate basis.
My name's Connor. I'm also with Pura. Daniel and I have talked for a few minutes about Pura strategy, so I think no questions for Daniel. But Colleen, question for you, I guess twofold. What do you feel like, what edge are you getting with direct mail that other D2C brands that maybe are more traditionally on paid social, what edge do you feel like you're getting over those brands? And then also from like an offer perspective, are you giving customers like any incentive to buy off those direct mail? You mentioned it was a pretty good ROAS, so I'm curious, like, what is your offer or what do you give to those customers?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, like Facebook is just so competitive, and people know that they're getting targeted no matter where they are on the internet. But when you receive a catalog in the mail, it seems like a little bit more personalized. And again, like, we still can't guarantee that somebody's going to flip through it, but I don't know, I was like home at my parents and I was getting, like, they get their LL Bean catalogs and stuff, and I feel like they've been doing that forever. And so I think it's particularly beneficial, at least from what I've seen, for like fashion companies and in that space, and that like you can flip through and really see how people are wearing the clothing and how they can be styled that you can't necessarily get in a digital ad. We do a lot of like in studio on model photo shoots, and we use those for our product landing pages and everything like that, and we repurpose those for Facebook. But yeah, I think it's just like a little bit less competitive in somebody's literal mailbox. And then, sorry, what was your other question?
What offer? Do you give the customer any incentive to buy? Is there any offer, or is it just branding?
Yeah, so we put coupon codes. I think if you want to check out this one, it's 50 off 150. And And then for our postcards, sometimes they're a little bit more customized. May depend on if somebody had added to cart and what they were purchasing for. But yeah, we do have offers because it's brand awareness, but our products are expensive, and it's a big commitment to, if you get something in the mail and then check us out on the website, and then like having that code in the back of your mind is like maybe that extra step to get you to convert.
Is the catalog, for the catalog in particular, is it most effective, is it effective as a customer acquisition tool, or is it more, does it palpably increase the LTV?
So far I think it's more for customer acquisition for sure, yeah.
I had a quick question for you, Colleen.
Yeah.
I'm Blake with Thistle. In terms of the amount of direct mail you send, like per year, how much do you send? And then secondly, you said you have a follow-up postcard for retargeting. Do you use any digital channels to enhance, like when you do send direct mail or retarget through digital channels?
Yeah, so again, I apologize. I don't know like all the numbers off the top of my head, but yeah, I think that the quantities vary like each round. So I think going into the holiday season, we're sending close to 1 million catalogs. Don't fact check me because I'm not 100% sure if that's correct. And then, sorry, for the postcard, your question was about the digital.
Yeah, do you use any other digital channels to retarget? Because I'm sure you see a big spike in traffic.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, so we have email retargeting and behavioral drip campaigns and abandoned cart and everything like that. Yeah.
Colleen, Daniel, thank you so much for sharing. We're going to wrap on one last piece of creative. This comes from, and I think this is inspiring because it really underscores, I think, a lot of the qualities that D2Cs can bring to the whole marketing space, and especially the media and the advertising space, which has been in a bit of a slump for a number of years. Advertising has become so much more, especially around digital, has become so much more around execution than creative. I wanted to share this that comes from someone who was a big hit at our last D2C event, the Liquid Death brand. And some of the ways that they're advertising online are truly brave, they're truly creative, they're profoundly entertaining and fun, and I just wanted to end on this one last piece of D2C creative. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hi, I'm a professional actor, and I'm getting paid to tell you about a revolutionary new product. For years, a bunch of marketing fuckboys have tricked you into thinking that water is just some girly drink for yoga moms. Just look at all the cute brand names and dainty little bottles. Well, hold on to your hot dogs, because I got news. Water isn't cute. Water is deadly. It kills innocent surfers and snowboarders and kayakers. Every year, water is responsible for thousands and thousands of deaths. Energy drinks only kill like, what, 1 or 2 kids? So please, don't fall for the marketing bullshit. Water is not yoga. Water is liquid death. And that's why this brand needs to exist, to finally give water the ice-cold can and ice-cold name it deserves. A brand that parents will hate, but kids might love.
Liquid death, mountain water.
Made from the deadliest stuff on earth. Please, enjoy responsibly.
Energy drinks kill what, 1 or 2 kids a year? That's my favorite line. Go forth and be creative.